A new Otsutsuki is going to appear, and this is going to raise the power of Sarada Uchiha, awakening the karma and also the supreme Pink Rinnegan. Follow this insane theory with me and subscribe to the channel. The shinobi world already had faced unimaginable threats, from legendary warriors like Madara Uchiha to enemies that surpassed the limits of human comprehension, like Kaguya Otsutsuki, Momoshiki, Ishiki, and even hidden gods that emerged from the shadows. However, there existed a secret buried even inside of the very clan of the celestial gods. A name never pronounced in records, erased from the history and feared by anyone that dared remember, the name of Shijima Otsutsuki. She was direct daughter of Kaguya, born in one of the hidden dimensions, but kept hidden by the very mother as a weapon in potential, a being that could, in case of necessity, avenge the blood of the goddess. When Kaguya was imprisoned and defeated by the union of Naruto, Sasuke, and the other shinobi warriors, Shijima felt the cut in her soul and fed since then a single and absolute desire: avenge the death of her mother, destroy the human descendants, and punish all those that dared challenge the blood of the gods. Shijima wandered for eras among dimensions, accumulating power, observing the growth of humanity, awaiting the exact moment in which the heirs of Konoha were vulnerable. That moment finally had arrived. A gigantic tear opened in the sky of the Leaf Village. Dimensional portals collided against each other, and the space seemed to scream in pain. From the portal emerged a suffocating presence, a chakra so intense that made even the most experienced jonins fall to knees without even trying to resist. The air became heavy, the ground cracked only by the pressure of the energy that escaped. When the figure finally crossed the rift, all could see her form. Long and silver hair with bluish reflections that dragged until the ground, garments that shined like a celestial cloak, and eyes that carried not only the Rinnegan, but a pink and threatening Sharingan. Shijima landed in the center of the village, and with a single look launched a wave of energy that devastated entire blocks, leaving chaos and destruction in her trace. Her voice echoed like thunder, but without moving the lips, reverberating directly in the mind of all. "You dared touch in my mother. You imprisoned the goddess. Now all of your lineage will pay the price." Naruto, even weakened after so many sacrifices, tried to advance. Kawaki activated the karma in despair, and Boruto raised the power of Momoshiki to confront the goddess, but nothing seemed to affect her. Each strike was repelled as if they were mere leaves to the wind. Each charge was transformed in dust by her aura of hate and supremacy. Shijima did not seek to plant divine trees nor absorb chakra, did not seek domination or expansion of the clan. Her objective was singular: absolute revenge. And it was in that apocalyptic scenario that Sarada Uchiha observed, her fists closed, the heart in flames, and the eyes burning of impotence. She already had awakened the Mangekyou Sharingan, but before an Otsutsuki like that, her power seemed insignificant, a grain of sand before a cosmic storm. However, it was exactly this feeling of despair that propelled her. Sarada always carried the determination inherited from her father Sasuke and the compassion of her mother Sakura. But now, before the imminent destruction, she understood that there was no other way out. Either she rose and became the force that would save all, or everything that she knew would be annihilated. When Shijima raised the hand to smash Boruto with a strike that would kill him instantly, Sarada activated her Mangekyou and launched her most powerful technique. It was an instinctive move, desperate but precise. Her eyes shined in flames, channeling all that she possessed in a single charge. The ocular energy crossed the space, cutting the chakra of the goddess and hitting her in the chest, causing the first wound that Shijima had felt in eras. The goddess recoiled surprised, staring at that young mortal. "You dare hurt me?" It was in that instant that the destiny of both interlaced. The battle began. Sarada attacked with the power of the Amaterasu, black flames molded with a surprising mastery, and used her vision to foresee moves that did not even seem possible. Shijima danced between dimensions, dodging with elegance, counterattacking with blasts of energy that transformed the battlefield in craters and destruction. Boruto and Kawaki tried to intervene, but the clash was so intense that any approach meant being swept by the wave of energy resulting. Sarada resisted, even with her vision being slowly consumed by the Mangekyou. Each second was a torture, but her determination kept her standing. In a moment of pure intuition, she foresaw the next attack of Shijima and concentrated all the power of her gaze. From her Mangekyou emerged a sword of chakra, condensed and precise, that pierced directly the core of energy of the Otsutsuki. Shijima staggered, unbelieving, feeling her essence undo. A human, with cursed eyes. Defeated me? she said before falling to knees. But even defeated, like every Otsutsuki, Shijima left behind a legacy inevitable: the karma. An intense pink energy detached from her body and sought a new vessel. Sarada, exhausted, fell to knees. But before she could understand, her body was enveloped by that divine flame. The karma engraved itself in her skin, a pink pattern that rose by her arm, running through all her body until concentrate in her left eye. The Mangekyou Sharingan distorted, broke, and then reconfigured itself in a form never seen before. From the Uchiha blood and the inheritance of Shijima was born something unique: the supreme Pink Rinnegan. The eye pulsed with unlimited energy, transcending all the known abilities. It possessed the classical powers of the Rinnegan, but expanded them to levels never seen, allowing absorb, recreate, and instantly evolve any technique. Sarada was no more only an Uchiha, was no more only a determined kunoichi. She now was the bearer of a power that surpassed even the most legendary warriors. When she raised her eyes, all felt the impact. Her aura changed completely. A Susanoo emerged around her body, but it was not blue, nor purple, nor red. It shined in pink and white tones with wings that seemed formed of pure light. Each step of that entity made the ground tremble. Each strike crossed dimensions. Shijima tried to rise again, but Sarada crushed her with a single attack. The battle had ended. Boruto, Kawaki, and Himawari looked incredulous, as if witnessing the birth of a new divinity. Naruto, even weakened, smiled with pride, while Sasuke, with tears contained, recognized in his daughter the surpassing of all that he and Madara had achieved. "She surpassed all of us," murmured. The pink karma was not a curse, like of Boruto or Kawaki, was not a prison of soul fighting to dominate her body. Sarada harmonized the power, molded it with her will, transforming it in an extension of herself. Her determination, her compassion, and her ambition of protecting all molded that legacy in something unique, a power that existed not to destroy, but to save. The shinobi world now had a new guardian, a goddess warrior that carried inside herself not only the pride of the Uchiha clan, but also the strength of a divine karma. Sarada Uchiha, the young that dreamed of becoming Hokage, had surpassed that title and reached something greater. Her name would echo among the worlds and dimensions, remembered as that who surpassed Madara, who transcended Sasuke, and who defeated the heiress of Kaguya. The supreme Pink Rinnegan would be the symbol of a new era, the proof that even before the gods, the human heart, when guided by determination and love, could reach the impossible. After the defeat of Shijima Otsutsuki and the awakening of the supreme Pink Karma, the shinobi world never again would be the same. Sarada not only had conquered an impossible victory, but also transformed herself in something that not even the oldest records of history could describe. The shock was immediate, because all knew that a new power had arisen, a power that surpassed anything seen before, and that could become both the salvation as the condemnation of humanity. Naruto, exhausted, observed the daughter of Sasuke with a silent pride, knowing that even not being his daughter of blood, she carried inside herself the same spirit that one day made of him Hokage. Sasuke, for his turn, hardly could believe in what he saw. The pride of father mixed itself to the fear of the warrior that knew the risks of an absolute power, for he himself already had trod dangerous paths when he sought the limit of the Uchiha eyes. But Sarada was not Madara, neither was Sasuke. She possessed something different. The capacity of balancing the power with compassion, of not letting herself be consumed by darkness, of carrying the weight of responsibility with the firmness of someone that does not seek personal glory, but yes, the protection of all. Meanwhile, Boruto and Kawaki remained in silence, each one with conflicting feelings. Both carried karmas. Both fought against the influence of gods that wished to dominate them, and now saw Sarada awaken a different karma, pure, harmonized, that did not fight against her, but merged to her will. The pink karma was something unique, and this made Boruto and Kawaki feel both envy as hope. Himawari, still young, looked her friend with eyes shining of admiration, feeling that there arose someone that could, in fact, face any threat. But the destiny rarely offers rest. The universe of the Otsutsuki was vast, and the defeat of Shijima would not be forgotten. In another dimension, echoes of her death spread like waves, reaching entities even more powerful, figures that never had manifested themselves, but that now observed the earth with eyes of vengeance. Among them murmured itself the name of Shibai, the supreme god that had transcended the very physical existence. And that would not look with indifference to a mortal daring manipulate and transform the power of a karma in something that surpassed even the inheritance of the gods. Sarada, still learning to deal with her new eye, began to perceive the differences. The supreme Pink Rinnegan not only granted her the known techniques like Shinra Tensei, Chibaku Tensei, and dimensional portals, but also allowed her create variations even more devastating. She could not only repel attacks but return them amplified, could not only imprison an enemy in a gravitational prison but seal entire dimensions. Her Susanoo, now fed by the pink karma, possessed a celestial aura, with wings that remembered those of a warrior angel, and inside it, Sarada felt herself as part of something greater than the very humanity. But the power did not come without cost. The weight of the karma began to test her soul. In her dreams, Sarada saw glimpses of Shijima, as if the essence of the Otsutsuki still tried whisper in the bottom of her mind, questioning if she would be capable of resisting the destiny of all the bearers of karma. It was a burden that she could not share, not even with Boruto, who understood like no one the pain of carrying a parasite seal. Still, Sarada did not let herself be shaken. She decided that she would use that power to protect, and that she would not allow that anyone ever dominated her. The time passed, and the news of the battle against Shijima spread through the world. The shinobi villages recognized in Sarada not only a prodigy, but the warrior that had surpassed Madara and defeated an Otsutsuki alone. Her name became symbol of hope, and many already saw her as the true successor to the title of Hokage, even being young. However, not all were happy. Among the leaders, there were those that feared her power. They asked themselves, and if Sarada one day were corrupted? And if the pink karma showed its true nature? The balance of the world was in risk, and alliances began to shake. Meanwhile, in distant dimensions, portals opened. Other Otsutsuki arose, attracted by the energy released in the death of Shijima. They were warriors even more ancient, that did not care about humanity. But yes, with the break of the cosmic balance, they could not allow that a mortal surpassed the limits of the clan. When the first signs of a new invasion appeared, Boruto, Kawaki, and Sarada knew that they would need fight together. And it was in that moment that the dynamic among them changed. Before, Boruto and Kawaki were the pillars, the warriors that carried the destiny on the shoulders. Now, Sarada had become the central figure, the only with power sufficient to face gods in equality. In battles that followed, Sarada showed her true potential. Against enemies that destroyed mountains with a gesture, she responded creating prisons of light that sealed entire dimensions. Against attacks capable of obliterate armies, she returned the energy multiplied, transforming the enemy in victim of his own arrogance. Her fame grew, and the very Otsutsuki began to call her the Pink Goddess of Destruction. But Sarada did not let herself be vain. For her, all still turned around her original dream: protect Konoha, protect her friends, and one day become Hokage. Only that now, that title seemed small before what she really represented. The world needed not only a Hokage, but a guardian capable of facing the very cosmos. And that role fell to Sarada. In the heart of the young Uchiha, there was no space for the corruption that one day consumed Madara. She had surpassed the blind pride, had understood that the true power was not measured by how many enemies you can defeat, but by how many friends and innocents you can protect. Naruto recognized this and, even debilitated, declared publicly that Sarada represented the future of the Leaf Village. Sasuke, with pride and tears contained, said to himself that his daughter had gone beyond all that he could imagine, and that his mission now was guide her and protect her, even knowing that already he could not accompany her in power. Boruto and Kawaki, for their turn, found in Sarada not only a leader, but an example. They stopped seeing her as the third member of their group and began to recognize her as the central pillar of the resistance against the gods. And Himawari, inspired by the awakening of Sarada, began to tread her own path, feeling that one day also could reach the same level of divinity. But the stars continued to agitate. In the horizon, the shadow of Shijima Otsutsuki approached. The supreme god, the being that had transcended the matter, observed attentively the awakening of Sarada and of the pink karma. For him, that was not only an accident, but an affront. The power of the Otsutsuki should not be molded by mortals. The question that remained was clear. When the god of the gods decided to intervene, would Sarada be ready to face him? The future remained uncertain, but one thing was evident. The era of Madara, the era of Sasuke and Naruto had ended. Now began the era of Sarada Uchiha, the bearer of the supreme Pink Rinnegan, the warrior that defeated the daughter of Kaguya, and that would become the legend that would protect the earth against the very gods. Subscribe to the channel and activate the notifications to receive all the videos.